I'd like to reassure the public that the Post Office has got full contingency plans prepared. We've reviewed previous documentation. We've updated that to ensure that there's a minimal disruption to the public. It is our busiest time of year, and our ultimate aim is to ensure that there's as little as possible disruption to the general public.
But how are you going to manage that if the Communication Workers Union, 200 odd members of staff there, vote to go on strike?
If they do vote to go on strike, there obviously is procedures in place, as cooling off periods, etc. So, we've taken all of that into consideration. It's their liberty to ballot for strike action. We'd be very disappointed if they chose to take that action. But we've done everything we can as a business to ensure that if that does come to fruition, that the disruption to our customers, which are businesses and the general public, is as minimal as possible.
Are you prepared to guarantee everyone will get those deliveries in the lead up to Christmas, their presents? Or is that a step too far?
I certainly feel that there's a robust enough plan in place to ensure that the deliveries will be out there. What's received in, obviously, part and parcel of some of these issues and the reasons that the union are balloting their members is because of the changes that we're trying to introduce. And this is because of the declines in mail volumes. And yes, there's a slight increase in parcels. However, that doesn't offset the decline in the letters and the commercial aspects of the business. So currently, the commercial side of the business is actually subsidising the universal service obligation.
There's a long list, though, isn't there, of what they're balloting on for strike action: pensions, pay and allowances, holiday pay terms, automation, working permits, job security, universal service obligation. It's quite a list, but a lot of that, I think, overlaps, doesn't it, a little bit?
There's a number of items in there that you could put under the one heading of terms and conditions. There's a lot of historic terms and conditions and allowances within the postal business. As a board, we've got to act financially responsible. We've got to, that is in the Postal Act, that we've got to be financially responsible. And yes, there are a number of negotiations underway. We're still in negotiation with all of the parties. It's not just the Communication Workers Union in the Post Office. We have the CMA Unite, and we've negotiated with both unions in this regard.
There's always going to be agitation amongst the workforce when their pensions are being reviewed and when pay is sort of heading in a downward direction rather than that way.
Yeah. The pension is slightly different within the Post Office. The members are quite right. They say it's a fully funded scheme, but it's a fully funded scheme at present, not going into the future. And as a board, we've got to be financially responsible to ensure that in the future the actual contribution from the business is increasing and has increased considerably, and it's no longer affordable. So we have to start these negotiations with the members to ensure that it's a sustainable model for the future. The public sector as a whole on the Isle of Man have had changes to their pensions. We are fortunate that we have a funded scheme at present, but going forward, it's not going to be. And we have a duty to ensure financial accountability and responsible financial decisions are taken.
Just finally, how concerned are you that the public have a very high regard for the post staff that they see on a day-to-day basis? We look at the social attitudes survey and they were very high, I think in second place on there. There is a danger if strike does happen, and let's emphasise that's not certain at all as yet, that the public would support a strike.
There's a danger with anything that goes to a ballot. But what I would say is we do have a fantastic workforce, and that is why they have scored highly in the social attitudes survey. But we have to implement change. People don't necessarily all accept change, but we're just being responsible as a board, making sure that the post office is sustainable for the future. And we're doing this in conjunction with all of our employees and the unions. And, hopefully we'll get a positive outcome at the end of this.